Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. I think we're live. How's everybody doing? I've never live streamed before, so this is my first time, and I'd like to just say, first and foremost, thank you all for joining me, and thank you to Stephen, Harlan, and Sean, who have walked me through how to use this. It's different than just opening up Instagram and like firing up the Instagram live. So thank you so much for joining me, and thank you thank you to my team for walking me through. Yeah, what's going on? Damn, it's been a week since the album came out, and the reception has been overwhelming, and from all around the world, and all kinds of radio stations and record shops and people from their turntables. It's been like the coolest thing, like way beyond, what I'd hoped for. When it came time to do this record, well, when Dan gave me a call and was like, let's make a solo record, obviously a lot of you know me from Duran Jones and the Indications. And that's kind of like, that's been like my main project. And I should say I'm definitely still in the Indications. We're working on a new record now. And so I just kind of felt like this was an opportunity to have fun and like, just let it rip. I keep telling people, it reminds me of like when you get a free play in pinball and you just let it go and have fun with it. So anyway, that's what I wanted this record to be. And I'm so glad that even in a time when there's a lot of crazy things happening, that we can take some time and enjoy the music together. So I've been trying to think about like the best way to do this, and I think I'll play the song. I'll look for some questions, your questions in the comments. I can answer them, and yeah, and we'll just play some excerpts. I'll play you some stuff, little pieces on guitar, and it's gonna be good. So, without further ado, we'll open the album with "You Don't Want to Be My Baby." "You Don't Want to Be My Baby" was co-written by a dude named L. Russell Brown. So he's written with Frankie Valli. And I'll tell you more about that in a second. But I wanted to open the record with like a lowrider joint because that's me, that's what I love. And I know that's what a lot of people kind of know me for. And to almost bridge the gap between what I've been doing with the Indications and what this record would be. So let's take a listen to "You Don't Want to Be My Baby." I just gotta say real quick, I do see a question: is Aaron the lead singer in this album? Yes, I'm singing lead on every song. Yes, it's me singing.
You
So somebody shouted out the bass playing, um, which I agree. The bass playing on this record is insane. And I'd like to give a shout out to Nick Mavshan, who played bass. You would know Nick Mavshan probably from a couple different places. I know I got a lot of soul heads I'm sure are in here. Nick Mavshan also played, he's part of the Dap King, so he played on Back to Black, the Amy Winehouse record, and played Lee Fields and Sharon and all those people. And it was so important to me to have some people like that in the room who weren't necessarily from Nashville, but we're kind of coming from where I'm coming from, which is sort of knowing the soul stuff. There is shaker in there. Yes, I am playing the drums. I'm playing the drums on every song here except the very last one on the record, which is actually the percussionist Sam Bacco playing drums, so I could just sing. I'll show you something that actually you might find interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna fade this out. I don't know if that was a smooth fade. All right. Let me show you this on guitar, because I think it's actually really cool. So, like I mentioned, this song, You Don't Want to Be My Baby, was co-written by a guy who used to write for Frankie Valli. And so originally how this song sounded, I think is you can hear that Frankie Valli influence. So here's what the demo version sounded like. If you don't wanna be my baby, then I don't wanna be in this world. Since you know it's gonna drive me crazy if you ain't gonna be my girl. I bleed you all of my veins, you're running through. I need you, nobody else would ever do, 'cause you don't wanna be my baby. So yeah, it's you can hear that's Frankie Valli, that's some Frankie Valli influence. Even on the bridge, the turnaround going yeah, so it almost turned out like that. Oh, I'm off mic. It almost turned out like that. But when we got in the studio, for some reason, it felt more natural to take the lowrider approach and kind of bring it a little closer to what I'm used to some of the lo-fi gospel records that I love, or just the rawness that I love, that I know you love. Cool. This is my brother's guitar. All right, let's see. Okay, I got some questions here. Let's see, from my pal Eric. I didn't bring anything that I had been working on with other writing partners, but I did have a bunch of songs that sort of I had started that didn't feel right for the indications. For example, Leaning on Your Everlasting Love is one that I loved. I actually heard that song in Duran's voice, but it just didn't feel quite right for where the band was at. And and that's okay. It's with the indications, it's been really fun for us to kind of do something really specific. So yeah, but I loved the song, so I tucked it away and I brought it out with Dan and him and Bobby Wood from the Memphis Boys, who's played with Aretha Franklin, and he's been with Frank Sinatra and Al Green and Dusty Springfield, all them. He helped me come up with the bridge, which is real gospel-y. Man, I see so many friends in here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're just joining me, this is my debut album release party. We're listening, where I'm gonna answer some questions, play some things on guitar. Let's see what else you got. Let me go to the next song here. So the next song is If I Got It, Your Love Brought It. I've told this story I think maybe before, but I was in the Sacramento DMV because my sweetheart, I was visiting her dad in Sacramento, and he had to go to the DMV. So we went in the morning, and that's not exactly where you necessarily want to go all the time, but that's what you do sometimes for love. You go to the DMV. Anyway, so it was we were at the commercial vehicles desk, and behind the desk there was a bunch of toy trucks. And at the top of the wall, there was a sign that said, it was a truckers union, Teamsters union slogan from the 50s. And it said, if you got it, a truck brought it. And I was just like, man, that's, sometimes you see these phrases and you're like, there's just something, there's like a sparkle to it. So I took that idea and just sort of personalized it. I was like, if I got it, well, then what? What brought it? And it's just sort of intuitive to be like, well, that your love brought it. And the song just kind of wrote it. It felt like it was writing itself at that point. You're saying like, well, if I have this, if I have anything at all, if I got it, your love brought it. So take a listen with that in mind. What's up, Rick? What's up? Yo, I got a lot of friends in here, man. Thank you. What's up, Snoopy? Thanks everybody for joining me. Yeah, there's definitely like a hip hop feel to that intro. I think that there's something about acoustic piano with hard drums that's sort of like an underutilized kind of like juxtaposition. The first thing that comes to mind to me is like Just a Friend by Biz Markie. And there's just something that immediately kind of puts you in this like, it's you're in party mode. So anyway, If I Got It, Your Love Brought It is, I want it to be a song like, obviously romantic love, but like anybody who brings you that joy, who brings you like, growth, who helps you improve, who, helps you get to the point where you can be like, I was wrong, I'm sorry, stuff like that. It's like, those people are a blessing in my life. So that's a song for that. All right, I got a couple questions that people had asked me on Instagram, so I wanted to hit those super quick. So let's see if you'll allow me to read off my phone. What comes first, the lyrics or the music? I would say it's generally the chords first, and the chord progression evokes a mood, right? It could be, it's happy, it's sad, it's party, it's angry, it's mourning, And then off that mood, that's kind of what inspires the vocal melody. And the vocal melody, if I'm just playing, I don't need the guitar. If I'm just playing and I'm just like, then you start to hear like, okay, like there's a syllable count there. Da 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 da. And you just start to fill it in with what feels good and what feels right. There's no formula, and there are definitely times that I'll write down a scrap. Like with this one, if I got it, your love brought it went in my phone first, and then when I was in the studio, I was like, oh well, I had this one progression from earlier. I think that they would fit together, but yeah. So I'd say music first generally. Okay, I love this next question. How do you deal with writer's block? How do you deal with writer's block? If you know, you tell me, because I definitely struggle with it sometimes. I think that one of the things that's important is as a writer to be kind of like gentle on ourselves, like you soak up all this stuff and then you kind of like a sponge, you wring it out, and you have this period where you need to recharge. And so first and foremost, I think it's recognizing like, hey, I've done a lot. I need to give myself some time to absorb again. So I will try to listen to an audio book, or I'll go to a museum. I mean, right now I can't, but watch some movies, watch a show, like listen to speeches, listen to some of the great orators, and you can pick up some tricks. More practically, I suppose, I guess I should say more in a more concrete way, what I actually started doing a couple weeks ago that I really like is free writing. And I'm sure, if there are any poets out there, if my friend Harlan is listening, I'm sure he'd be like, you're late to the game there. But rather than trying to write lyrics, just, I started to sit down and just write sort of like thoughts and scraps, imagery, just what the song made me feel, what the progression made me feel, and that actually really helped, because I find you start to see some words. You're like, okay, oh, that's a good word. Let's see what I can rhyme with that, or like, even if you don't wind up using it, I was working on a song, and the song just made me think of the sound of tires on wet concrete. It didn't want to go in the song, but like, I think there's something about like, okay, well that's nice imagery that kind of helps like put me in a zone. Yeah, exactly. As Ursula said there in the comments, to not try to like edit your song while you're writing it, because at the end of the day, what we're doing is like an iterative process, right? It's, you try it and it's not that good, and then you make it a little better, and you make it a little better, and there's a really good detail. Let's build off that, and eventually it gets there. So that's my advice for writer's block is chill, absorb, free write, repeat. There you go. All right. What else we got? Somebody asked, did you choose music or did it choose you? I grew up in a house with people who really loved music, so I think it was given it chose me in that way. But it's something this is what I've wanted to do since basically since I was about like 10 and realized that I was not going to be a professional baseball player. Once Major League Baseball was off the table, I think music became kind of my number one. All right, what else? I'm checking the comments. All right. Let's see. Do I have a favorite artist currently? Or an artist I gravitate towards? I love Kadia Bonet. I think she is an amazing artist. She self-produces. She's a string arranger, so like all her arrangements are amazing. Yeah, she's inspiring. I love the internet. Steve Lacy's really cool. I love the Cactus Blossoms and Coulter Wall, two country artists. I love all the whole West Side Gun movement from Buffalo. So all those rappers, Griselda, Conway, West Side Gun, like Benny the Butcher. Those rappers are like that's my heart, man. That's the kind of hip hop I grew up on. All right, let's see. How was working with Dan? Working with Dan was amazing. I'm a huge fan of Dan. Straight up, when I learned to sing, it was in the car when I got my license, like, listening to Brothers, the album by the Black Keys, and singing to like Thick Freakness and some other early Black Keys records. So it was super cool to work with him. Yeah, I mean, he's a great producer. He's such a good songwriter. And I think because I learned so much from his songs in my own sort of musical growth, our workflow was sort of like, was like this. It was very intuitive. All right, here. I'm going to play another song, and then I'll answer some more questions. The next one we got is Can't Leave It Alone. This track... There's a time in like the early mid 2000s where there's a lot of marching band hip hop stuff. I think of They Know by Shouty Low. I used to hear that all the time on the radio, and it's just there's so much swagger to it. So I wanted to put in like these, make it a very hip hop song. It's all about the horn stabs. I'll tell you more about recording in a second, but take a listen. Here's Can't Leave It Alone. I mean, come on. um, you know, to get to work with Dan was so cool because I'm a fan. But when we did that song, we wrote together a lot of times. You know, it would just be in the back room of the studio, kind of in the kitchen. I'd be at a drum set, he'd be at a guitar, we'd both be at a guitar. But for this one, I was on the drum set. And when he took that solo, when he took that guitar solo in the demo, when he was just on acoustic, I couldn't stop smiling because I was like, dog, you get a Dan Auerbach guitar solo, it's a special thing. So this one definitely, as some people are saying in the comments, like definitely has Dan's touch on it, and that's what I wanted. When you work with a producer, you try to find a balance between your sound and their sound. Ursula asked if I fangirled. No, I can't say that I did. And it's not because I'm not a big fan. I think that it's just, the reality of this, of working in music in a collaboration, is you have to maintain a dynamic of like, we're collaborators here. So to be honest, if you go into a situation and you're just like, I don't know, you're just sort of like, you don't want to put yourself in a position where you don't feel like you can be heard or whatever. You have to kind of enter into a collaboration as like, we are equal parts in this and we're gonna figure this out together. But no, I'm a huge fan. So that's a hard song. All right, here we go. I'm taking this off for a second. All right, I got a couple more questions from Instagram. Here we go. Do you ever write love songs to God, then change the words Father and Lord to baby and darling to make them palatable? That's a really interesting question. I don't think I don't start off writing like necessarily like, oh, this is a gospel song, and then I think people aren't gonna like the gospel, so I change it. But gospel music is a huge influence in my life, and I think I've just listened to so much of it that a lot of those ideas of, these core ideas of gospel music, when you think of gospel, you think of what? You think of Amazing Grace, right? Like, I once was lost, but now I'm found. This idea of like redemption, you were down, but now you're up. You're sad, but now you're happy, and you feel gratitude. And I think the cool thing about that is like, even if you're not religious, you can still find, to me, I can still find myself in a song, that maybe wasn't written with me in mind. So if I Got It, Your Love Brought It definitely comes from a gospel place. Leaning on Your Everlasting Love, which we'll talk about later, definitely comes from a gospel place. Man, the time is flying, but I'll try to get through a bunch of these. I'm gonna skip to Have Mercy, because that one was not a single. So here's Have Mercy. Take a listen to a little bit. So if you follow me on Instagram, you will probably know that I love the bolero sound, originated in Cuba and Spain, but it's been a really important sound in my life for a few years now, and I wanted to do something in this style. And I'll show you one moment on the instrumental break. Malo El Chicano, also Los Tres Haces, Rafi Pagan, all the Fania like crew. It's such a romantic style. One thing I tried to do on this song was, and on Bad News, which we skipped over, was kind of play with coming down in my register a little bit, because people know me for the falsetto. So all right, I'm gonna fast forward. Here. Listen to this piano riff. Just that like da 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 is just like, I mean, it just made me fall over in my chair when he hit that. That's a player named Mike Rojas who hit that. I love War as well. I mean, y'all know where I'm coming from on this. This is also one of my favorites on the record. So it makes me super happy to hear that you all love this one, because I really love this one. All right, what do we got next? And there's this, like I said, like trying to come down off my falsetto. So like, you send me for the one that I am when the others are. And when you get down there, you're in your chest voice. Blind. Or like in the same way on Bad News. I know I'm getting older, but the winter seems much colder than before. That's something I've been practicing, trying to use more tools. Especially when I don't have other singers in the band and it's just me. All right, which brings me to another one of my favorites on the record, which is Done Lying. I wanted this to be kind of like a 90s R&B joint, but with like a little bit of like 70s in it, or I don't know, something just kind of new all together. So Done Lying is like, it's a song you can like kind of get down to on the floor. It's what I like to call like low stakes dancing tempo. Because I'm not the all-time greatest dancer, I think. If I had a couple drinks in me, I could let loose. But I think I'm a better drummer than dancer. But this is an easy one to kind of like move to, But lyrically, it's sort of like, I've had some friends. If you have dealt with addiction, whether it's you or it's someone in your life, and you've been a part of the support system, I think this song, would resonate. Trying to be there for somebody after it's like over and over again, and then being like that it's it, that's it, this is the last time, don't leave, So it's a heavy concept, but it's you can still dance to it. Phil, I see your question. Who came up with the guitar riff? Me or Dan? I'm not sure which song you're talking about. On Done Lying. I came up with these chords. So it's interesting. Like, you'll find songs on the record that that sound a little different, I think, than a lot of stuff on a lot of other stuff on Easy Eye. And I partially, I think that's because I was writing some of this not on guitar, but I was writing on piano. So I'm not a piano player, but I can hunt and peck and kind of work some of this stuff out. So that's why these chords are actually a little harder for me to play on guitar, or they sound a little strange, but they sound super, super nice on the keys. All right, what else we got? Y'all are still rocking with me. I'm gonna keep on going. I know I'm supposed to cut this off like and not too long, but I know we spent a while getting out of the gate, so I'm gonna try to get through it. So that ends side 1, which brings me to another one of my favorite songs, which is Lover Girl. On a lot of the record, I wanted to sort of like push forward and bring some contemporary influences, but I also wanted to have a couple moments where I could really just celebrate classic songwriting, and Lover Girl is one of those examples. Take a listen. Never gonna find me another lover girl like you. Never gonna find me another lover girl like you. Baby, I can look around even if it took forever, but I can tell you now, never find nothing better. Never gonna find me another lover girl like you. So, yeah, it may not surprise you that Smokey Robinson was a big influence on this one. So somebody asked if I'm planning a solo tour. I'm gonna try to get on the road as soon as I can, whether it's with me or with the Indications. Yeah, all right. I see my friend Rick over there. So how did you decide the order of the tracks? I don't know. It felt pretty intuitive to me, actually. There are certain songs that when it comes to making an album, kind of hit these key landmarks. So for example, You Don't Want to Be My Baby sounds like an intro credits to a movie or something. So I wanted to open with that. And conversely, Leaning on Your Everlasting Love sounds like the end of the night, you know. It sounds like closing up a bar, which, you know, it's influenced by my many nights being like, you know, just me and the regulars at the bar at the Jalopy Theater in Red Hook, singing around the piano. So, and everything else, you just kind of like, all right, well, that's fast, that's slow, that's happy, that's sad. You try to find a balance. All right, what else we got? We're getting through it. So that brings us to Ride With Me. Ride With Me is one of 2 songs that are kind of like inspiration comes from climate change and me stressing out about it. I had an interview with NPR with Weekend Edition last weekend, and I was talking about this and basically told them, like, you know, it has, again, classic gospel imagery of like the train at the station. And this train is bound for glory, or is bound for a better world. And it's like, you know, we can't afford to miss it. And I think it feels pretty, I don't know. I think the line feels pretty clear to me between that idea of like salvation, you know, here, and something as serious as like, yo, we gotta get our shit together because this thing's happening.
Tell all the children there's a new
it's not a, I guess hopefully it's not a coal burning train. I guess this would be some sort of, maybe it's an electric train. I don't know. Somebody asked about the bass again. Again, that's Nick Mavshan on the bass. He's an amazing bass player. My friend Leah asked me what my musical guilty pleasure is, and Leah, I will tell you, I do not believe in guilty pleasures when it comes to music. I think you should enjoy what you enjoy. I don't want to introduce shame into my listening. I can get that elsewhere. Thank you very much. All right. What else we got? Girl on the Phone. So Girl on the Phone, the tempo change is kind of a nod to Jay Dilla, who was known to kind of start with the sample, and then drop in the beat and have it speed up. Somebody asked me about chopped cheese. I do live in New York, but I don't generally mix meat and milk, so I don't do the chopped cheese. Girl on the Phone, I wanted to be a song, again, like kind of classic songwriting, like having this like thing of when you don't have somebody, you start to notice all these details, about the world and like what they have that maybe you don't. And something as simple as like hearing somebody put in an order for 2 drinks might mean that they have somebody out there and you don't. So it's a sad song. All right, Love Is. We're in the home stretch. So actually, you know what? I'll just talk about this because you can hear it on your favorite streaming service. So Love Is. Somebody asked me about alternate versions, and originally we wrote it almost more as like a country thing. So what it wound up being, the 2 chords on the record are love is what you make it. Love is ain't no way to fake it. Right? But in the demo, we added an extra chord that wound up being dropped. So it was love is what you make it. So that chord. And it kind of sounds like some like cowboy, kind of like over the prairie type thing. Love is ain't no way to fake it. Our hearts, they were made for breaking. Love is anything we make it. There we stood at the edge with the sun at our backs making shadows. So another influence on Dan and I both is Junior Kimbrough. So Junior Kimbrough would do a lot of singing the same note as he's playing on guitar. You find that a lot in country blues. I was talking about this a while ago on Instagram Live, but like, so Junior Kimbrough would do something like, meet me over in the city. And I don't know if like the microphone is picking up the amp, but like that idea of like sounds really nice when you can sort of let it guide your vocal melody. So on Love Is, which is sort of indebted to like some more American roots music, we have like, there we stood at the edge with the sun at our back making shadows. So just letting the guitar kind of like what feels good in your fingers a lot of times that's like what can feel good coming out off the tongue as well. Anyway, all right. Um yeah, that I know that's a lot of people's favorite as well, and that was really cool because that's another one that I was like, should I put it on the record? It's like a little different. I use a different part of my voice, you know. I know a lot of people have heard Over You, so for the sake of time, I'll bring it home with Leaning on Your Everlasting Love. Take a listen here. Ooh. Now take a listen. Actually, I have something to say about this. So before you take a listen, you can hear people laughing and kind of chattering, and that's real. That's not added. That's not added after the fact. That's really like this was a first take recording. So the reason why is because that first chord you hear was not in the actual song. Bobby Wood, who was on the Rhodes, that's his specialty, started playing this kind of inversion of the chord, and all the other players in the room were kind of like, oh shit, that's cool. And so you can hear that, and everybody just kind of falls into it because the tape was rolling. So we're like, okay, actually, let's just run with it. And so that's that kind of first take magic that we were like, you know what, we gotta use this one, because you can hear just like the real delight and joy that came from that moment. That's really organic. You can't fake that. Take a listen. If you're listening in headphones, you can also hear somebody else sing it after a line. I actually didn't hear that at the time. I only noticed it on the listen back. But it's cool. It's a beautiful moment. In a world so full of trouble, yes I was. You know, it's that idea of I found salvation is built on the power of love. Like, you know, again, just kind of playing on these gospel conventions, but making it about anybody or anything in your life. And for me, it's, you know, there's so many people that, you know, I feel gratitude towards for helping to make this album a possibility. And I feel so grateful to all of you who've tuned in tonight, who've stuck around to check it out. You know, getting the opportunity to do a record by myself under my own name wasn't something I necessarily like planned on or thought I get to do, and certainly not with somebody like Dan making it happen, and so many people kind of involved behind the scenes to make it a possibility. So with that being said, I just want to say thank you so much for checking out Introducing. If you haven't bought the record, you know what? Buy the record, please. Continue to stream it, share it. And if you have bought the record and you want to support, I will say hop on AaronFrazerMusic.com and buy a t-shirt. for you or a friend. Yeah, that's about it, man. There's so much fun stuff that's in the works that I like have not even told y'all about. Yeah, this one definitely owes a lot to Sam Cooke, owes a lot to Sister Rosetta Tharpe. Yeah, I think that's it. That's all I got. Have an amazing night. Take care. Listen to Introducing. It's out right now. Peace. I'm out. Have a good night.